Okay, welcome to this week's Chen Chat. So the date is the 11th of May. Sun's out in the UK, which is nice. We've basically come out to the garden room to sit down. So apologies if there's any loud sounds, ambulances, cars, dogs barking.
Dog barking, probably.
Birds, possibly. But we thought it'd be more interesting to do it out here. So that's the plan. So Jayne's got a list of questions that we pulled in over the last couple of weeks. We'll run through those as we normally do. And we'll see what Chen has to say this week. So hopefully you'll enjoy. Okay, without any further ado then I'll hand over to Chen and we can get cracking. Good day, my dear.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Exceptionally well. We're in a new spot.
We are in a new spot. Do you like the energy?
Yes, it's beautiful.
We've only just finished it.
Yes, very nice.
Well, that's a royal we. I didn't,
we.
Yes.
There's always a we, of course.
Yes.
This is the case. It's very harmonious here.
You like it? Good.
Yes,
Good.
Peaceful.
We've got
Very
lots
peaceful.
of our pyramids and things dotted about.
Yes, but when you're making such objects, such as the pyramids and those sorts of things, of course you can completely cover the whole house with
Yes,
them.
we have. Yes.
And I think you'll find from space you probably can see this house
Wow.
from an energetic perspective
Wow.
because there's a lot of energy radiating around this particular
That's exciting to know.
geography. Yes, of course, and you also have other devices too, which we've encouraged you to build over the years, my dear.
Yes, rather a large one behind the shed, and the tree that we planted only 4 years ago. The elderflower tree has done rather well. I have to keep shoving it back. We had somebody in to help build this summer house, and they only trimmed that tree back about 4 weeks ago, and was looking at it, scratching his chin the other day, going, "How can that be growing so quickly?"
Yeah, I noticed that Andrew didn't give him the information
No,
particularly.
no.
No, there's a certain reason why things grow very well.
Yes.
When you provide the right energy and the right frequency, then of course the trees would grow in that way to support the energy they're pulling in, of course. And this is what harmony is all about.
Yes.
Frequency and energy. And this is what we talk about, my dear, every week. Frequency, energy. It's the topic of the conversation of the universe to a certain degree.
Yeah, yes it is, isn't it? It's massive, isn't it, at the moment?
Yes, and it's my passion, as you know.
Yes, and ours.
Yes.
Because of you.
Yes, of course. Well, we do work together. I do acknowledge that you two work very hard behind the scenes. Of course, you are the physical face of this particular team that we put forward to perform this type of work that we do.
Yes. And talking of that, we are doing a theme week again this week, aren't we? From tomorrow. You're doing your chat, taking the stage at 3 o'clock, and you decided that you wanted to talk about curses and black magic.
Yes.
Didn't you, this week?
Exciting topic and conversation.
Yeah,
because it touches so many people. Yes, and I think, of course, there's so much confusion around black magic and cursing and what cursing means and how people can curse each other. So I thought it was time that we actually had a proper concentric conversation about cursing and what that looks like. And of course, more interestingly and more importantly for many people, how we can stop the energy of curses reaching us and affecting us in a negative way. Yes, my dear.
Yes, and also the difference between white magic and black magic.
Yes, yes. Which of course sounds quite simple to start with.
Yeah.
But like all things, of course, everything is intent and frequency based, and the two things become connected at some point. So white and black, or dark and light, are two ends of a spectrum, but of course they do meet somewhere, and you have grey.
Yes.
And of course it's where the grey meets that things become slightly more confusing for many people. And that's what we will discuss.
Yes, good. I'm looking forward to this week.
Yes, and so am I, my dear.
Yes, we've been on your guidance, making some images, haven't we, for the posts that you'll be putting out.
Well, you seem to have overtaken young Andrew, I noticed.
I have a little bit. I enjoy it.
Well, you have an artistic flair, my dear, don't you? Of
Yes,
course.
thank you very much.
And I must say, you're sometimes more receptive to the conversation than young Andrew, because of course he's in his mindset doing the things that he's doing, and generally juggling lots of balls mentally at the same time, whereas you tend to focus on one thing properly.
Well, he's very good at keeping the balls in the air, actually. I have to say, there's an awful lot of balls he juggles.
Yes, yes. But obviously, just juggling one ball makes things progressively easier.
Yeah, I tend to sort of try and do one thing at a time.
Yes, do one thing right.
Yes.
And let Andrew juggle lots of balls, sometimes badly. I am making a joke, of course, for the audience. He does do very well, as we're very aware, and there are lots of things happening. And there's always lots of interventions happening from in different places in different ways. So there are lots of things to do when you're walking this path. This path is not easy to walk for anyone that finds themselves on it, and continuing to walk and embrace the positive aspect in the way that we do, and you two both do, can become quite testing at times. Yes.
Yeah, can be draining.
Yes.
But we try and put relaxation in between if we can.
Yes, which is why you have to hold your energy, and people talk about holding the space, and holding the space doesn't really mean anything to most people. But if you think about yourself in an energetic bubble, holding your frequency inside that bubble to provide complete spiritual sovereignty, of course, is the key.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about when we talk about people that can hold the space. They can sit in a room of troubled people that have very low negative frequency thoughts and intrusive thoughts, and they just sit there inside their little bubble, totally unconnected and undisturbed by other people. And that's what we would say is someone that can walk in the room and hold the space.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. Well, we've got a few questions.
Yes, good.
8 or 9, I think, here. So the first one is from Mandy Springer. Thank you, Mandy, for sending in your question. Question for Chen. Can you explain, please, what orbs are? My mum is able to capture them with a camera and can even ask them to form a half circle. Interesting.
Yes, that is interesting. Yeah. Yes. So everything we know is frequency and vibration ultimately. So an orb that's actually being able to be captured with a third dimensional camera is obviously effectively, if you think of a bubble, a washing up liquid bubble that you can release.
Yep.
So you can mix up washing up liquid and you can shake something and you can blow bubbles.
Yes.
And that bubble basically percolates around the room because it has a frequency. So an orb is very similar to that, but an orb actually is coming in from an interdimensional frequency. So orbs can have people's faces inside, and of course from a spiritual perspective we can use them to communicate with people. So if you look at orbs and you blow them up and make them bigger, sometimes you see a face.
See an image, yeah.
Sometimes you may see a word. So we can use that type of frequency to communicate. And obviously people that are very spiritual will have other spiritual energies around them, their grandparents, people that have passed over, maybe their animals and their dogs. And of course with the right time, the right frequency and the right space, orbs can be seen floating around people. And these can be picked up on different types of camera apparatus.
Yes. So the fact that that Mandy's mum can ask them to form a half circle means she is communicating with them.
Yes, as an intelligent, conscious communication.
Yes.
With whatever's actually creating the orb for you to see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes,
interesting. We quite often see them in photos.
Yes.
And assume that type of explanation, but it's good to hear that from you. Thank you. Okay. Next question is from Suki Gill. Can Chen please describe his view on ascension and whether we have to go through physical clearings in order to ascend? Can it be the body clearing toxins, getting ready for an upgrade, or is this just a myth?
Yes, he's basically captured the conversation very well, I would say. So the word ascension means to ascend, to go up, to rise. So to raise your vibration primarily. But of course, people that are locked in low frequency energy or have a lot of toxicity in their physical body are unable to increase their vibratory frequency. So you have to go through a spiritual cleansing as well as a physical detoxification process to be able to rise your energy to a place that we talk about as ascension, but it's basically rising your energy. So if you remember when I first started to communicate with Andrew, he needed to go through quite a lot of detoxification, if you remember, spiritually and emotionally and physically too, because I was unable to bring my vibration down to a low enough point to actually come into his physicality, and we needed him to rise and to raise that vibration so that we could meet.
Yes, basically. Yes, and that's how you got faster at coming into trance. Or
yes.
Yes, because it
And
all happens down a split second, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's why now his vibratory frequency is very stable, very easy for me to just come in and take over immediately.
Yes.
And that, of course, is what you see. I see my friend has appeared.
He has, but he's not going to come and sit on your lap.
Well, one day he may do. He may surprise you.
Come on then. Come on up. Come on.
Is he camera shy?
No, he's not camera shy. He's spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
Well, Suki, I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for sending it in. Yes, thank you. Next question is Lisa Barker. So, Chen, I do this with my water and my food. I say anything that is not for the highest, greatest good of this vessel be transmuted, purified, and all that remains is its pure essence. What do you think?
Yes, intention changes energy. We know this.
Yes.
So we know that the thoughts that you think and the way that you think them with your intentional frequencies will change things. And this is why some people use Reiki to Reiki their food, or they Reiki plants.
Flowers,
and of course, young Andrew used to cheat somewhat, if you remember. He used to buy you flowers, my dear, and Reiki them so they would last longer.
Yes.
So being a cheapskate, he wouldn't have to buy them so often, which was very clever.
I used to get them nearly every week.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, sorry, digressed.
Yes. So basically, that is the concept.
Yes.
That obviously, with using your intention, you are clearing the vibratory frequencies that are more negative. So it's a very good thing to do. And this, of course, goes back to religion. If you remember, people that are religious back in the day used to pray over their food, and you'd thank energies, and you'd thank different religions have different ideas, but generally thanking some type of deity for the food and for providing the food.
Yes.
So the same sort of thing. So yes, it works.
Yes. Same. That's interesting, actually. Thank you. Yes, I mean, there's lots of religions, isn't there, and cultures now that still do that.
Yes.
Take hands around the table, don't they? Join hands and give thanks for what they're about to eat.
Yes, it works.
The origins.
Yes, if you can, it's all intentional based. If the intention is positive and good, then of course it works.
Yeah. Going to give that a go. I am now.
Yes, that will be interesting. We'll watch with interest.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for that question. That's great. Yafa Galilee, could you offer any advice for those who are spiritually developing? I know it's a very broad question, but just maybe a few tips.
Yes.
If that's Yafa's situation at the moment.
Everyone needs to know these answers.
Yes.
So it's a very good question, because everyone is continually spiritually developing. Yourself and Andrew have been on the path for quite some time, my dear. But I'm sure you would say that you're still spiritually developing.
Definitely.
Learning
still learning
things.
all the time.
Yes. So from our perspective, really, the first thing for someone on their spiritual path is to clear their vibration, to start to speak their truth. Speaking your truth is the number one thing, because most people have been manipulated to not speak their truth by society, cultural things, families, religions, etc. So starting to say things that you really mean that is truthful to you is the first thing, really. The second thing, of course, is to start to think about your vibration. So when you have negative thoughts, push them out, clear them for positive ones, and then to embrace sovereignty. So no one on a spiritual path can truly develop particularly well if they're not sovereign, because they will have other things connected to their field.
Yes.
And those things are going to manipulate them in a negative way.
Yes.
So ascertaining spiritual sovereignty is the second number thing to do from our perspective. You could say it's the first thing, really, probably before speaking your truth. But speaking your truth is very easy to do.
Yes.
Moving into a sovereign space can be a bit more tricky for people. And of course, finding spiritual teachers that you trust. As young Andrew says these days, the spiritual arena is like the Wild West. There's all sorts of people out there talking about things. Some of them know what they're talking about. Some of them, of course, do not know what they're talking about. Some people will take you on a positive journey and help you open up and learn and progress positively. Other people will take you on a negative journey and will cause you more problems.
Yes.
So the spiritual path is one that has to be walked alone, but you have to go with your heart. This is the key. Follow your heart. Don't follow other people, and don't listen to other people that make suggestions. Do the things that you think is right for you.
Come to learn your own truth.
Yes, it's a personal journey for you.
Yes.
So the next thing after ascertaining spiritual sovereignty is starting to work through meditations to clear your field, past life regressions, to clear old negative frequencies that you would have brought forward and incarnated in with. So past life regression is very good to do that. And then, of course, we can move into a point that we start to connect to spirit. So entities like myself, everyone has their own spirit guides, and you can learn to communicate with and talk to your guides. And initially, of course, you can use oracle cards and those sorts of things to try to do that, to get messages through from spirit. And this is a fun way. If you remember, myself and Andrew used to spend hours and hours playing with cards, trying to understand messages.
Yes, trying to understand the messages, and sometimes forgetting to do our protection at the time as well. So
yes, that's how you learn.
Yes.
Before
you play with anything, isn't it?
Yes, I used to sit back and think one day they'll talk to me. It's much easier.
Yes, that's all it is.
Yes, but of course it's part of your path, my dear. So, but the spiritual path should be fun. And if you're not having fun, then you're on the wrong path, because everyone is a spiritual being, a sentient being. And therefore, if you're a spiritual being and you're on your spiritual path, you should be aligned with learning the right things and picking up from where you finished your last life with your soul families and other people in your life. So finding your tribe is so important. And that's why we are so keen, and I have been so keen to have these platforms on social media and websites and other places where people can find us and can communicate and can talk. Because you have to find people that you like and people that you trust.
Yes, you do. And it's so much nicer to have something in common with somebody else who's on the same path as you, isn't it?
Of course, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
That everyone, and of course, from our perspective, lots of people say, wouldn't it be nice if we all lived in the same place? And of course, we laugh from our perspective because we thought,
we
purposely put you at different ends of the globe on purpose because we want your vibration to clear the area you live in. There would be no point having a community of spiritual people that lock the doors and have a wonderful time dancing around and have a high vibration, whilst the rest of the planet is mired in negativity.
No, absolutely. So absolutely. That's part of the reason why we do our worldwide meditation as well. In fact, one of our lovely clients, Sarah, she asked the other day if we were going to do another one. So we must do that again, mustn't we?
Yes.
Maybe every couple of months, 2 or 3 months.
It has profound changes to the planet.
Does it?
Yes.
Does it? That's good to know, actually, because I'm sure people that sign up for it would like the feedback from that as well.
Yes.
To know that you see a difference. And...
We do. We see vibratory changes because when you get a group of people together that connect and harmonise their energy, that's one thing, my dear. But of course, we're connecting spiritual entities to you at the same time.
Yes.
So myself and the team that we work with are also working to work through all of you at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's quite profound what happens from our perspective. And of course, it's a shame that people can't actually see the energy changes that happen across the planet when we do these things.
Oh, we will one day.
Yes, you will one day, my dear, of course.
We will one day.
Very well said.
When we're over there with you.
Well, not just yet. You've got plenty to do.
Yeah.
Your holiday hasn't finished yet, my dear.
Holiday? Very funny. Oh, okay. So, going back to the sovereignty, making sure you stay sovereign, on the home page on our website, andy-porter.co.uk, we do have a list of the Andy's top 10 recommendations for protection techniques. So if you do need to have a little look and just up your spiritual hygiene, take a look at those 10, and I'm sure they were developed with Chen's advice. Yes, in the background.
Yes. You're quite correct, my dear.
Yes, I thought it might be.
Andrew might think he has his own thoughts, but quite often his thoughts are mine.
Encouragement from you.
Yes. Direction, I think.
Direction.
Guidance, we say guidance.
Yes, okay, thank you. And thank you very much, Yafa, for sending in a very interesting question, but essential, very essential. It's the things that we should go back and cover more often, actually, because we tend to sort of move on, don't we, and assume that everybody knows these things, and we're actually here to help and guide, aren't we? So.
And you must remember, my dear, more and more people are being switched on to their spiritual path now. So there are all of these newcomers that don't have the information, and sometimes the information is very cloudy. Yes.
Well, it becomes cloudy, doesn't it? Because there's misinformation as well.
Yes.
Sorry, flashing my papers around. But, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Nikki Brown. Hi, Chen. This week I've been learning about guardian angels and archangels. The archangels' names all end with ELL, apart from Archangel Metatron. Why is this? Also, I'm aware we all have a guardian angel. Does this angel look after just one person at a time, or are they assigned to several humans? With lots of love and gratitude to Chen, Andy and Jayne.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I don't think we've had this one before.
No, I don't think we have. We haven't covered angels.
So names again have vibration or frequencies.
Yes.
So all of the angelic names have been picked for their very high harmonised frequency.
Yes.
And the L at the end helps to do that.
Okay.
Interestingly, but Metatron is not the same species, so it has a completely different frequency.
Right.
So
Okay, thank you for that answer. So a little bit is so if we looked up the EL together as two letters together in a name, in numerology, I'm assuming that would mean something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do you need me to run through the last bit of the question again for you? That we all have a guardian. Well, she says, I'm also aware we all have a guardian angel. Does this angel look after just one person at a time, or are they assigned to several humans?
The guardian angel is different terminology. We would say spirit guide.
Okay.
So everyone has a spirit guide.
Yes.
I mean, you can call upon, so angelic entities have a very high vibration. So if you think of a hierarchy, they're up at the very close to the top of the hierarchy. There are other frequencies and there are other entities, of course.
Yes.
So if you called on Archangel Michael, you're calling on a high frequency being to connect and help. If you're working with your own spirit guide, generally they have a lower frequency because they're your guide.
Yes.
So effectively depends upon what level you're working and what you need would depend upon who would help.
Okay.
So if you think of a school you have lots of teachers. Different teachers have different skill sets for different things.
Yes.
So you wouldn't ask the woodwork teacher for help with mathematics, for instance.
Okay.
So the same type of concept.
So guardian angel and archangel, two entirely different things. Guardian angel is our soul guides, spirit guides, however you want to term it. Archangels are different angelic beings.
Yes. So I would say my understanding and terminology would be spirit guides like myself, and your guardian angels. They're there to look after you, to take you along your spiritual path, and to guide you really to a certain degree.
Yes.
But then if you're connecting to other species, certainly the angelic realms, that's a completely different entity. Basically.
Okay.
And as you know, I have a team that I work with that have a very big cross section now of different entities that have never been human, that are here working on planet Earth to help things and help clear energy and help clear people, places and frequencies.
But it's a critical time, isn't it?
Yes, but none of them have names per se. So I don't refer to anyone. If you ever notice, there's never a name that I tell you I'm working with.
Thought that was because you couldn't.
Well, I can't really.
No.
Of course, I would get told off too.
Yes.
But we talk about the team.
We don't want to get you into trouble.
Yeah, so we're talking about a group called the team.
Yes, which we absolutely appreciate. Thank you. Okay, Nikki, that's a lovely explanation from Chen, and I hope that's okay for you. We've got an aeroplane going across.
Yes, that's good. It makes it real. These things are real, my dear. We're not stuck in a studio or a booth.
No. I'll just wait for its helicopter, I think.
Helicopter,
yes. Sorry. I think it's heading off. Okay.
Yes.
Mandy Orr, has there ever been any entities that you haven't been able to rid off somebody?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
So back in the day when we first started this collectively, myself and young Andrew, of course I was learning to clear negative frequencies and entities from people, and there were entities that were connected to people that we couldn't clear. And I needed to go on a training journey of my own.
Did you?
So this is where we started to work with young Terence, of course, Mr. Palmer. So Terry and I would work through why we couldn't clear people, or why these entities had connected and embedded themselves so deeply in someone's etheric field. Because everything is about the etheric bubble or field that you all have.
Yes.
So when an entity connects to you, of course you have perforations in your field. These entities come in and connect, a bit like an octopus connecting lots of legs inside you. And we would struggle to find all of those legs and actually detach and pull that energy away. But of course now we're working with some very different entities from very different places, and we don't have that problem. So I would say now we never have a situation that an entity can stay embedded in someone's field.
Okay.
Because we will find their frequencies and we will clear and remove them.
Yes.
And what happens now, my dear, is almost the opposite actually. Is that when the entities know we're coming, they detach and leave themselves half of the time.
Yes, so this is what we do find. Sometimes, not a lot, thankfully, but sometimes they do. They know it's happening, so they hide, they leave, and jump straight back in after.
Yeah.
So the idea being, Andy always says in the report about, again, doing the 10 steps of protection to remain sovereign, and that actually is the client's responsibility within the clearing, isn't it?
Yes.
To make sure they do that to remain sovereign afterwards.
Yes. So once we've cleared the energy and we've protected the field, we've put the person back in their protected bubble, their field is clear, they're sovereign from that perspective. So any entity that disappeared and tried to reconnect shouldn't be able to if that person's back in there. So think of a house.
Yeah.
You have someone in your house and you know that someone's coming to find that person that's hiding. They creep out of the door during the night and you close the door. And then, of course, if you lock the door behind you, they have no way back into the house.
Yes.
But, of course, if you leave the door wide open, the next night they creep back in and we get back to the same state.
Yeah.
So there is a certain amount of self-responsibility. You're right, my dear, that the client does need to maintain their protective field to stop things coming back in, but it only happens very infrequently.
Yes, it does. Yes, it is infrequent. It might be something that we need to maybe add into the booking page, actually, so that the client knows that, rather than, because sometimes they miss it as well on the report because there's quite a lot.
Of course,
so
it's a comprehensive report.
It is. So I think perhaps that's something we could start adding into the booking form so they know. Thank you very much. You've given me an idea now. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Mandy, for that question. Catherine Miller. Hello, friends. I'm curious about the lack of emotion on the spirit side. You mentioned earlier, Chen, that it's because you don't have a physical body, so you don't have emotions. Could you talk more about that, please?
Yes, basically that's the answer to a certain degree. Emotions come from physical or hormonal changes inside your chemistry and your biology.
Yes.
So rather like a dog, if you think about a dog, if you poke a dog with a stick, you make him angry. He has an emotional response, an anger response, and he'll try to bite you generally.
Yeah.
So the human being is a very complex physical person with lots of emotions, and of course you've got lots of nerve endings, and we can say things to you that will upset you and triggers from past lives, all sorts of things. But when we take the physical body away, we just have the conscious awareness of the spiritual energy. So myself, when I'm not in physical body, I'm in Andrew's physical body now, I can feel everything. I know exactly what's going on inside the physicality.
Can you feel emotion?
Yes, there is some, my dear. There is some.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you've always wondered.
Pardon?
I know you've always wondered if he has any emotion.
Oh, Andy.
Some, yes. Yes, there is some. Somewhere deep down, I would say. But he's quite a chilled person, not quick to anger particularly.
Yes,
so there isn't a lot of emotion flowing particularly. So, but of course, when you have no physical body, there is no biology and chemistry to become emotional. So a spirit can still be angry, but there's no emotion connected. So if someone dies in let's say, in a war zone, they're angry, they're in a state of adrenaline, they're in a massive state of fear generally, and they get shot and they pass and die. They could be very angry that they died, they'd be probably angry they didn't see their family again. So the spiritual conscious awareness will still be in a state of anger, but no emotion. There is no emotion because there is no physical part of them that can be emotional.
No.
But that's quite often why earthbounds like to connect to people, because if you're being emotional or you're having an adrenaline experience, maybe you're doing drugs or something, the earthbound can assimilate a small amount of that energy and feel those same things. And this of course is the same way that entities would connect. An entity that can take you into a very negative place and make you very angry and fearful, they're assimilating that vibration from you as a human into them. So there is a certain amount of transference that can happen.
Yes.
But when you're dead, basically there is no emotion per se. And this, of course,
that's
is
a
why.
simple answer.
Yes, and this is why most other entities that we talk about and we connect with don't understand emotion, because without a physical carrier, there can't really be emotion.
So if they've been in human body, would they remember it?
Possibly, yes. As time goes by, you tend to forget, really.
Yes. I mean, you last incarnated in the 1600s.
Yes.
Can you remember emotion?
No.
No.
Not at all, really.
Okay.
And when I come in now and take over young Andrew, I don't really notice much emotion, particularly. Everything is very stable. But then, of course, there are years of
Stable's
work.
good.
Yes, there's years of work to get to that state.
Yes.
So emotional
Yes.
people are people being triggered continually, generally. So if your emotions are up and down, obviously women have hormonal problems, which changes
But
their
that's only
state.
coming from being a physical body, isn't it?
Yes, but most men don't really have. They have testosterone, of course, but not really having hormonal changes
No,
generally.
they're not.
So emotionally, most men should be flatter and more level. But of course, they can be upset and triggered
Affected,
with circumstances and things that happen in their life. But part of the spiritual path is to find yourself in a place where you can control your energy. It's all about controlling your thoughts, controlling your energy, keeping yourself in that sovereign space.
Yes.
And then your life gets better.
Yes. Yes, noticeably. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine. And actually, our last question is from Catherine again, because I thought it was a good idea to include it. We talked about sound, didn't we? Sound healing. Oh, and singing. You know, we had a little bit of a theme, didn't we, last week or the week before, about this. So she says, hello again, friends. I have a question related to your talk on sound. If I'm using tuning forks, for example, for healing, the sound doesn't last very long. Is there a set amount of time you need to listen to a sound to gain the healing effects? Like, for example, 15 minutes of a specific tone or something like that, or are the brief tones emitted from healing forks enough?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
So we didn't really cover tuning forks, but of course they're the old way of clearing energy. So if you have a set of tuning forks that align to a particular frequency of vibration, which of course they are, and you hit them and of course they resonate and they send that sound down through the end of the fork. If you place the end of the fork on a certain point in your body, you send the sound waves through. And of course the idea being that they clear blocks, they clear negativity.
Yes.
And they're a very good way to do that too, certainly from our perspective, because again you're embracing sound.
Yes.
The same as when you listen to nice music, you feel very mellow and
it's very healing,
happy.
isn't it? Yeah.
If you listen to angry music, then you feel angry because of course it's changing how you feel. So she is exactly right that of course, and the timeline doesn't really matter. If you've got an energetic block, you know, for 2 seconds, a tuning fork may clear that, so you don't need to keep doing it particularly. But if you're listening to, if we look at Buddhist monks and people that listen to mantras, they're listening to a certain frequency of vibration in the mantra for a long, long time.
Yes.
And they're programming themselves to come into that frequency. So the more you use a certain frequency, the more you align to it yourself.
Yes.
Because of course everything becomes similar.
Yeah.
So the answer is there is no particular timeline. It depends upon what you're trying to do.
Yes.
If you're providing a healing for somebody, then of course you can just go over the physical body with tuning forks in half an hour or something, and that would be fine. If you're listening to it, then of course the longer you listen to it, the more you will start to align with that frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, actually. I mean, we not so much recently, but we used to use tinctures a lot, and you can hear in them as well. And when you run it down your body, you can tell because the pitch is just off. It's almost sort of like unbearably, shrill, but it's very, very clear once areas have been cleared. Obviously,
yes. As you come into, because everything's vibrating at certain frequencies.
Yes.
So if you've got an area of your body that's out of frequency, that's blocked effectively, using tinctures or tuning forks or generally sound, as it unblocks that frequency, then the sound becomes more pure because of course it's more harmonised.
Yes. Yes.
So sound should be used by everyone every day, really.
Yes.
And this of course is why young Andrew has these things in his room that he bangs continually, generally when he's not trying to, and the whole room radiates with the sound of bells and other things.
Loud.
Yes.
Yes. Talking of loud though, I used to go to a group one evening a week, and our mentor, a lovely lady called Christiane, she would clear different areas on us, but at the end she had us all lie down and she would put on this music, and to start with you think, gosh, that's a bit repetitive, but oh my goodness, and then she would turn it up so it was really loud and you'd literally get lost in this music, and when it all suddenly she turned it all down and encouraged us to come back, it's like I've been asleep for 3 weeks. It was really effective, but to start with, when she turned it up loud you think, oh my goodness, but then you just like not remember it really.
Yeah, it's just cleansing, clearing blocks.
Really cleansing and healing.
And of course, if you have loud music, your mind locks into the music you're listening to.
Yes.
If your music's playing very low, you're observing all the other sounds that you can hear. If you have loud music, your brain then channels itself in.
Yes.
And of course, it's a very clever way of actually tuning in to something. If you're working, some people can work better with loud music that's repetitive.
Yes.
Because the brain can actually work better.
Yes.
Because it's not absorbing all of the other sounds in the environment, particularly.
Yes.
And other people need quiet and stillness.
Well, I need that too. I'm very I don't actually do well with loud noise and music. I tend to sort of feel a little more chaotic with that, but you can find what does resonate with you, can't you?
Yes, well, we do laugh, my dear, when you jump in Andrew's car.
Oh.
It always makes me chuckle.
Oh dear, there's always a little bit of a time lapse, and then all of a sudden his phone will connect to his car.
It's generally quite loud.
Terrible.
And you jump out of your skin.
Yes,
it's very
I do.
Funny.
Yes.
I laugh.
Do you?
Yes,
Thank you.
It's very amusing. We find things amusing, of course.
Oh, but thank you, Catherine, for your question on sound and healing. It's provoked quite a bit of thought, really.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you all to all of your questions. They've all been exceptionally good.
Yes, they have. Well, thank you very much, Chen.
Yes, well, thank you, my dear, for
As
having me,
always.
of course. I've enjoyed looking at the sun, which is something that we
Yes,
never see. You never see. I don't think I've ever
sun's just
felt
going
the sun
down.
on this physical body. We're always inside, generally.
Yes, we are. Yes,
So
yes.
it's
Well,
been-
we've never done this outside. The British weather doesn't normally lend itself to being outside in the evenings.
No, it's wonderful to feel
It's
the
nice to have
heat.
spring.
Yes, lovely.
Yes.
Well, I will say good day to you all. Thank you, my dear, for hosting the conversation. We hope everyone enjoys the content that we've covered, and obviously I will look forward to my conversation tomorrow with everyone too.
Yes, 3 o'clock
Yes.
UK London time.
Perfect.
Yes.
I will set my alarm.
Yeah.
Yes.
With you, I don't think I'll need to do that.
No, of course.
No.
Sounds good though.
Yes, I'm going to
Yes.
let you know.
Yes. Well, say
Right.
good day,
Yes, thank you, Chen.
and we'll connect again tomorrow.
Thank
Good
you.
day to you all.
Bye.